Good morning. It's Sunday, September 29th, and pretty soon J.D. Vance and Tim Walz will be having a national debate. That's going to be on Tuesday. Now, I looked at this, and I'm thinking a very funny thing is going on with the presidential and vice presidential candidates that are running in these elections. They all have short names. Harris, that's the longest name, 6 letters. Trump, 5 letters. Vance, 5 letters. Walz, 5 letters. No, Walz has 4 letters. Obama had 5 letters. And Bush had 4 letters. Is that one of the criterias in running for the presidency? A short last name? So I started looking, and I found George Washington. Washington is the longest last name, along with Eisenhower. And then I thought, let me see who has the longest first name. And the longest first name belongs to Rutherford B. Hayes. So he has a short last name but a long first name. And then I'm wondering who had the longest total name. And I thought it was Lyndon Baines Johnson. But then I remember John Fitzgerald Kennedy. And these guys never really said their full names. They were FDR or LBJ or something like that. But it turns out the person who has the longest, the president who has the longest name total is Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. Joe Biden. He has the longest name. And that's because of the junior at the end. Those 6 characters put him over the top. Now, if you look at some other situations, you might say that doesn't count as a name. But it does if that's your legal name. It's Junior. Junior. Not just JR, that's the abbreviation. So Joe Biden qualifies because of his being the second Joe Biden in the family. That's how it goes. There's Junior, there's Senior, there's the third, there's the fourth, but he's the Junior. Now when it comes to the use of the term Junior, many recognize that as what is known as a namesake. Your names for somebody in your family, the same name. So you become a junior or a third or a fourth. And that is also known as a generational suffix, which is also used to distinguish persons who share the same name within a family. You don't get a generational suffix if you're not a member of that family. So generational suffix can be used informally for a disambiguation purposes, or such as a nickname or something. But when you have a generational suffix, that is often incorporated into the legal documents. Because if you're just Joe Biden, we have to distinguish between the junior and the senior legally, or the second, or the third, or the fourth. So these suffixes, while they may be meaningless in the average daily existence of a person, they carry a certain legal weight when you want to have something done. You can't just say that Joe Biden did it or that Stan Braunstein did it. If there's another person with this identical name in the same family. So it's a very interesting portion of the naming situation that I really hadn't intended to get into. But there are many, many situations and many, many famous people. For example, so when a male child has the same name as his grandfather, or has his uncle, or a cousin, or some other relative, but not his father, he can use those two vertical lines that I am sure many of us are familiar with. The Roman symbol for two as a suffix, which is pronounced the second, which in other cases, if it was a father and son situation, it would be senior and junior. There are rare cases when the Roman numeral looking like 11 is used for a father and son. And you know who had that? Barack Obama. He was Barack Obama the second. And his father was Barack Obama Sr. Now, Obama's father had a minor name change in the way his name was spelled. And so that's how they ended up being the second and senior, and not junior and senior. So that's an interesting phenomenon that most people wouldn't understand, because who's looking at that? Who's looking in depth into the way people are named or the way names change? But names are fascinating in creating images of people. So I think when you know somebody's a junior, you recognize that there's somebody else of their name. Same with 2, 3, and 4 of the same name. I don't know if that's good or bad. I just know that in many cases you can be the same. But I wonder if a middle name affects that whole situation. Can you be Stanley Marvin Braunstein the first and Stanley Braunstein the second? Does that make sense to you? I don't know, but it's an interesting thought. And here I have rambling about names, and I started out in an area that I didn't intend to get to. So it's an interesting thing when you look at the history of families, and you find juniors and seniors and seconds and thirds. And I think that's a good thing. I appreciate the fact that people name their children and their grandchildren after someone in the family. Hopefully a beloved member and not necessarily something historical. So I leave you with that this morning. Have a great day. Bye.